Hello and welcome to the third of our Advent reflections, looking at the Holy Family, John the Baptist, Joseph, Mary, and we're going to get on to Jesus next week. But looking at the Holy Family and just thinking about their lives and the times that they lived in, I suppose, just reflecting on them a little bit. So today we're going to look at Mary, the Mother of God. And just as the truly Protestant of you calm down a bit, pause the video and just take some time to read Mary's song from Luke 1 verse 46. Go away and I'll sit here quietly until you've done that. So welcome back. Hopefully you've read that. So hopefully those of you of a sensitive Protestant disposition have calmed down enough for me to carry on. Sometimes for the right reasons we chuck the baby out with the bathwater. And that's what we've done as Protestants with Mary, I believe. While we should never elevate or venerate her above her son, it seems mad to not hold her up as someone who's very special. In fact, the Bible says that, prompted by the Spirit. We're told that Elizabeth pronounces, shouts out, "Blessed are you among women." In Eastern Orthodox Christianity, Mary is known as the Theotokos, the God-bearer. And all of this is vitally important to our theology. I know I said that we weren't going to be too theological in these, but this is good stuff. Because early in the 4th and 5th century, in the 5th century, people were arguing about whether Jesus as a person was fully God, fully man, or both. And it became a big and heated topic, to the point where bishops were gathered from across the world to have a big conversation. And so rather than the Christokos, which is easy for me to say, the Christ bearer, the Messiah bearer, Mary was given the name as God bearer. God as a baby was born to Mary. So a few years ago I came across a strange piece of science called Maternal Microchimerism. Scientists have found that early in pregnancy, cells from mum cross into the baby and vice versa. Now, each of us carries the DNA of our mums and dads, half and half-ish. So normally our cells are unique to us. We carry some of mum's DNA and some of dad's DNA. Chimeral cells are fully mum or fully baby. They're fully of one person but in the body of another. And they go both ways and get mixed up in this fetal chimeral thingy. They get mixed up in the baby's organs, etc. And the baby's cells become part of mum too. In fact, even our older sibling cells may get passed on to us, or our grandmothers. Safe to say that cells in mums and babies have been found to exist decades after birth, which are uniquely babies or uniquely mums. Now, what am I getting at? Well, I'm not saying this happened to Mary and Jesus, but the bond between mums and babies is deep. Our mums carry us around in their bodies, knit us together. They are biological baby-making machines. And that should be a Mother's Day card, shouldn't it, really? I think I'm going to send my mum that next year. Happy Biological Baby-Making Machine Day. But what we see in the Gospels is the deep bond between Mary and Jesus. And it's easy for us to think that that's because he's the Son of God, when it could just be because he's her son. She's his mother. She loves him. She carried him and gave birth to him, fed him, weaned him, and sends him out to do his Father's business. And finally sees him nailed to a cross. We don't see in the Gospels if Mary sees Jesus when he's resurrected. We're not told. But we presume that she did. I wonder what that conversation was like. In life, we build many really important relationships, and in many of them, we share so much that we feel deeply on behalf of the other. Whether that be our mums and dads, children, siblings, wider family, friends, church family, we're not closed to their hurt, their success, their joy, and the pain that they feel. We feel it deeply too. I remember sitting at a terminal in Heathrow, waiting for a plane to go out to New Zealand, where my dad had died unexpectedly. I called Martin Chappell on the phone, and he cried so much that I had to console him. So deep was our relationship that he felt my pain as if it was his own. And often this empathy, this intercession, our prayers for other people are lived out in circumstances where we aren't able to do much more than emotionally connect and support. Life's like that. Relationships are like that. As Christians, we can sometimes default to trying to fix situations or alleviate the problems, when what we could be doing is just emotionally connecting, supporting, standing alongside, cheering from the sidelines, or even just crying with an arm around somebody. Sometimes that's enough. Sometimes that's everything. Mary is an example of a relationship with her son, and an example of somebody who bears the joy, the pain of life of another. And Mary, the God-bearer, shows us that God was willing to be born, carried, and born as a human, with all its accompanying frailty, precarity, and mess. And that's what we're going to look at next time when we look at Jesus. But for now, a prayer. Lord, allow us to connect with you emotionally this Christmas. Though we won't see you as a story to be told, a set of rules to follow, someone distant, but instead pull us into relationship. Help us to see the world like this too, something to love, something to care for and invest in, and not just a project to fix. And most importantly, help us to see the people we live with, love, meet and interact with as you see them. As the song says, break our hearts for what breaks yours. Amen.